3SFX presents the Indoob podcast with your host, T. Sterling Watson.
Good morning, Indoobians. I'm T. Sterling Watson.
And I'm Kortney.
This is the Indoob podcast, where drive time meets late night talk show as we aim to entertain, enlighten, and provide an auditory escape with knowledge and nonsense. Thank you for stopping by and pressing play. We're recording live from Little New Indubia on the corner of Tashaka and MLK Drive. Kortney, Selena, Alan, Hinton, how are you doing today?
Wow, what an introduction or an addressment. I'm doing great with all of my additional names.
Of course. I mean, I gotta, introduce you the proper way so people know who you are. You step up in the building with all your, moxie and whatnot. So yeah. But yeah, how are you doing? You said you're doing good. I'm sorry, I had
I'm doing good.
There.
Yes, I am doing great. How are you?
I am also well. I'm a little late to the celebration because you already celebrated before me, but it is back to school season. And we as parents are now just elated to have them back in school, basically, and have our homes back. Yes.
Because so today excited, I'm glad that you're back in the ranks of parents with children in school.
Today was Ken's first day back. And apparently, I guess he had a good day. He didn't give me too much of a report. I think my lovely wife probably got the gist or the main bulk of the story, and he's probably not into repeating the story, which I get. I totally understand, because I think I was like that too, where you had numerous adults asking, how's your first day? How's your first day? And just, I can't. Yeah. But no, it's all good. And he's...
Well, how was his first day?
He said it was all right. Like I said, I didn't get the full story, so I don't know.
Gotcha.
Other than the fact that we had a whole little thing, I guess it's something that happens with many first day of school where the bus is late or there's this miscommunications or what have you. And that's what happened with us, because his school is in a different town. And the bus that was scheduled to come get him broke down on the highway. I'm like, oh, that's fun.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So they had to get another bus and bus driver who was not familiar with the route, and that led to further delays. And he didn't get to school until like 9:30, and I think school started at 9. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's kind of late. Is it not?
A bit. It's a bit late, but I mean, as long as everybody who was in charge knew about it and they could, act accordingly, like, it's all good. We're good. We're fine. I mean, it was beyond our control at that point, because it's not our fault the bus is late.
Yeah. But I'm saying even like a 9:00 start day for school seems kind of late. No? Is that normal?
You know what? I'm not entirely sure, because I don't remember when, like, he was going to the local public school, how late or early that started. I just know that we had to get him to the bus stop by like 7:20 or 7:30 this morning, only for, but again, the trip, the commute, like if we were leaving directly from our house to the school, it would take a half an hour. So imagine a bus that has to make all these other stops. Yeah. About an hour to get there. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So as to answer your question, if it's late or early, I don't remember. I don't know. I mean, I feel like even when I was in school, and this is actually something I was going to bring up with you today for this lovely episode about, and we discussed this already, how even just the start of the school year seems to be, well, for you, or at least maybe people in the South, because I have a couple other friends in the southern states that they already started school I feel like months ago, like in the middle of summer. Like what is that about? Do you know?
Well, yeah, if they have like a year-round school schedule, then yeah, they would have probably. They may have longer like breaks during the year and not as long of a break during the summer, or they just have a different schedule. Like my kids started August 2nd, so we're going on 4 weeks now of school. So well, 3, something like that. I don't know. Time is weird.
Hmm.
But um, but anywho, yeah, but see, also my kids start school at like 7:50. So it's like,
Mm.
what do you do if you have to start work at 8 and the kids aren't gone from, to start school or to start the commute to school? That's 9 a.m. just seems like a late start to me.
I could be wrong, but I am not entirely sure. But it feels right. It feels about 9-ish because they get out, I think maybe 3-ish or 3:30-ish. There's a bunch of issues because this, again, it's a new school system, so I don't know
Mm,
all the times yet.
mm-hmm. Gotcha.
And he didn't get home until 5. That's when the bus dropped him off because it's an hour commute on the way home. So it could even be 4 that he gets out of school. So starts
Mm-hmm.
late, get out late. Yeah.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Well,
Hmm.
love to. I can't wait to find out the details. When you find out the details.
I know I wasn't prepared for these questions, but I will
So
definitely
sorry.
get those answers to you. It's fine. It's all good. I mean, it's a shame because I wrote here Ken's first day. So you think maybe I would have that kind of information, even as his parent, I should know, but I just kind of
Hmm.
know I know when to expect him in the house and when not to. Like
Yeah.
it's 9 o'clock. You should not be here. You should be in school. And then if it's 4:30, unless we've picked him up, you should not be here. You should be commuting on the way home.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So there's that. But no, I recall a time back in our youth, as we had discussed off mic about a couple days ago, that we recall school starting, like the school year starting September
Hmm.
1st, or at least the very beginning of September.
Hmm.
And it just kept being pushed back further or earlier into the creeping into the
Hmm.
summer. Like, why are you robbing us of our summer vacations? What is the purpose?
Yeah. Yeah. I remember starting after Labor Day. Now, I feel like maybe that could be a combination of wishful thinking or fond of misremembering or something. But I remember starting kind of much later, like you said. And I don't know, August 2nd is definitely quite early and I don't understand it, but you know, who am I to question these things?
I feel like you can, like you're a parent, you can just like step up to the next
I
board meeting and like, I demand answers, or I don't know,
don't want them
something
to
like
change
that.
it, so I don't
Or
want them to
do
change
you?
it. I do
You
not.
don't want them.
No,
Oh, right,
no,
right,
I
because that
I
means
don't want them to push
that
it back.
you're right, because that means another month of having the children eat all of your food before
Mm,
like it's time
hmm.
to. Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You
Running your
got it.
house ragged. Yep. Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You got it.
Frayed nerves. Yeah, all of those things.
Mm-hmm. All of those things.
Things
All of
that
those things.
I don't believe my parents warned me about would happen with children. It's just
Mm-mm.
I don't know. I feel like I need to make a list of like, okay, you didn't tell me about this. You didn't warn me about this. And then I'll try to remember to tell my own children, like, okay, my parents didn't tell me about this part of life, so I'm going to let you know, or I'll just not tell them. And they're like, ha, surprise, I was going to tell you, but just have to deal.
I bet they don't. I bet they didn't tell us because they didn't. It could sound really like they weren't happy with our presence or we're just trying to get rid of us or whatever. Because it's hard to explain things to kids when they're kids because they just will never get it. So I think it's
Well,
very possible that, and then also they probably have forgotten a lot of the, troubles that we were as we grew up, maybe.
you may be onto something there. I mean, there because I'm also thinking there was just like, oh yeah, that was something that happened at that age. Oh, I
Hmm.
forgot to tell you. Oh well. Hmm. Or because, yeah,
Yeah,
like you said, we were kids. So why would we care? Why would we want to know? And we wouldn't remember.
right.
Maybe. Yeah. Hmm. Either way, we are celebrating children being back in school, even though even when this comes out, this should be coming out on the 30th. It's still August. So this child is going back to school in August, but at least it's close enough to the beginning of September. And I feel like that might have been the latest too. Like you just mentioned, going back to school after Labor Day. That feels right. I mean, Labor Day is next week, so it
That's
feels
true.
right.
So it's just a week later, basically. So I don't know. I don't
Hmm,
know.
I don't know. We're gonna move along. Like, right, really, what I want to talk about. They end up. It's gonna really just be recommendations. I'm just coming out saying that now, but I don't want to
Hmm.
get there yet. We'll
Okay.
get there.
Okay. Okay.
So
Okay.
first, we're gonna do our writers strike update because we like to
Hmm.
stay in tune. We're here to support the writers and the actors who are striking for better working conditions and not letting AI take over everything. Because no,
Mm,
don't.
right.
Although I
Amen.
did have some fun. I did have some fun with Adobe's AI generator program thingy called Firefly. It was kind of fun. I will say that.
Right.
I didn't I didn't send you any samples because I realized later on that they watermark everything, so you can't actually
Mm,
use it for commercial purposes. I mean, I can still send them
hmm.
to you, yeah, yeah, just throwing that out there. Anyway, as
Mm.
of August the 29th, the writers have been on strike for 120 days.
Wow.
So,
My
yeah,
goodness. It's a long
yeah,
time.
that is a very long time, and there have been talks. There have been, I feel like, some needles being moved, like meaning closer to agreement, but it's just there aren't things that are enough to kind of like, hey, we're gonna come off strike, but they're not there yet because all the demands haven't been met. They're still figuring that out.
Mm,
And
okay.
in regards to the actors, I don't want to say it's the same thing, but they more than likely won't be making any moves until after the writers settle their strike or end their strike, because what's the point of actors coming back if there's nothing written for them to do? So
Right.
there. Yeah. Also, unity. They're in this together. So that's also why they will continue to strike until the writers have their deal and then the actors can work on their deal.
Okay.
But
Well, that makes sense
yes.
to me. That
In
makes
the
sense to
meat,
me, especially since the writers started the strike first. So, but I'm glad things are moving along. That's really good to hear.
yes. I also agree. And I'm looking forward to uh things advancing, things getting better. And I'm sure that they will
Yeah.
sooner or later.
Yeah.
Stay
Do
strong,
you
guys,
think
out there.
yes, stay strong, we stand with you. But do you think that so it's you said it's been 60 days since the writer strike started?
120 days,
Oh my God.
4 months.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant. But I'm like, okay, that means 60 days. What was I doing like 60 days in? Okay, but then it's been twice that. Yeah, don't listen to me. So it's been a long time. Do you think that if they were to wrap things up today, that the crazy delays in shows coming out, do you think that would still be accurate? Like, does 4 months, maybe even 5 months of no work, do you think that they're still on track to either cancel shows or delay them by like several, like a year or two? Do you think they're still on track for that?
If they were to make a deal tomorrow, they might be able to salvage maybe a couple shows that are already scheduled to return. They would
Mm,
just maybe return later,
mm-hmm.
maybe October, maybe.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I don't. I honestly feel like a lot of the shows that, say, Abbott Elementary, for example, if
Mm-hmm.
they were able to come back, or rather, the strike ended tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
a show like that to come back, think I honestly I feel like it would have to become a mid-season show if they were to come back
Mm,
at all
okay.
this season.
Because hasn't it
Because
already has it already been canceled?
oh no,
Or
they've
was
been
it?
renewed.
Well, that's the thing because there's been some shows that have been renewed, but amidst the strike, they unrenewed them. Fortunately, not shows that I watch, but
Hmm.
that has happened, and I'm concerned.
Now,
that could
do
happen to
you,
some of our other shows.
not to put you on the spot, but do you know which shows you are referring to?
I don't because I really was just I read an article and I was just reading to make sure it wasn't my show. I think one of them, this is not gonna it's not gonna be helpful. It was a sci-fi show and I think it was going into season two. I think there's that's the name of it. One of the other one. A League of Our Own, League of Their Own, the
Oh,
series
okay.
that was
Mm-hmm.
like based off the movie. Um, I don't know if it was because of the writer's strike, but I do know that it was renewed and then they unrenewed it along with whatever other
Mm.
show it was that I can't think of. Um, and I think the other show that I can't think of was entering it was already like a multi-season show and then League of Our Own, I can't remember.
Mm.
League of Our
Yeah,
Own
yeah.
was they were about to go into their second season, I believe. So I don't know
Okay.
if it's directly because of the writer's strike or other factors, but it just got me thinking, it can happen to them, it can happen to my shows.
This is true. And my theory behind that would be a budget reason because that's been happening
Mm,
over at Disney Plus. Still, they're still canceling shows, like shows that actually have been completed. The most recent one being
yeah.
the Spiderwick Chronicles, which is not a show that I
Hmm.
watch.
Yeah.
And there's another show that I think I don't know if it was greenlit for a second season, but it's definitely canceled now. And there's a handful of them, but they've been canceled not necessarily because of the strikes, but I think is
Mm,
more because they're still trying to, I don't want to say clean house, but trying to save money, which seems
mm,
so weird because these are like multi-billion, if not trillion-dollar companies, and I don't know. Although
mm.
Disney, I think I can sort of understand because not that I know him personally, but Bob Iger is still trying to clean up the mess from the last guy, which was Bob Chapek, I
Mm,
think his name was,
hmm. So
and
many Bobs.
he was just yeah, he has too many Bobs, but he was just greenlighting everything. That's why we got like an
Ah,
onslaught of Marvel stuff and Star Wars
hmm,
stuff,
hmm.
and Iger was like, okay, we need to calm this down a bit because it's too much.
It's
It's
not,
costing too
it,
much.
yeah, and it's
Yeah,
not as
yeah,
special if it's only Marvel content and only Star Wars content. All of it, like
right.
it's overkill at that point.
It's overkill, and you're killing your workers, like the digital
Yeah,
effects people. That's
yeah,
why a lot of the content we've been getting from Marvel doesn't
it's
look all that
crap.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah, because they have to finish rushing this movie so they can just work on this show, and it's
yeah,
too much. So yeah.
yeah.
So as for other shows being canceled, I don't know of which ones are. Some of the other deals that have been worked out are independent features, and I think even as of this week, I think if your independent film is going like to a festival, I think they're allowing some of the actors to go out to promote it because it has, as long as it has nothing to do with the big major studios, so like Disney, for example, but all the major studios, if as long as it's not connected to that whatsoever, then the actors
Hmm.
can kind of go and promote it and be like, hey, go see my movie. But if it is, then no, absolutely not.
Yeah, I
So that's
agree.
I think that's the only thing I have. Oh no, I'm sorry. What I and I'm glad that I waited until just before we started because I wouldn't have caught this bit of news, which is a new podcast, which I'm going to have to go listen to. I think it just started, but it's called Strike Force 5. And
Ooh.
it features the, I don't want to say the top five late night talk show hosts, but it's the Jimmys, Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, Stephen Colbert, John
Hmm.
Oliver, and why am I forgetting the last one? Seth Meyers. There you go. So they've been chatting since May and having hilarious conversations. So I guess they came up with the ideas like, hey, let's do a podcast that's going to go on Spotify. And whatever proceeds that they make from it will be going to their crew members, like since they are not getting paid. And this is the time they would be getting paid. So I
Yeah,
thought that was a good
yeah.
cause. Yeah.
It's pretty neat.
And I actually look forward to listening to that because I enjoy majority of them, of those hosts. So yeah, I would like to check that out. It's a limited
Nice.
run. I think they said only 12
Hmm.
episodes.
Oh, that's more
look
than I
out for
thought. I thought was
that.
thinking maybe 4 or 5. I don't know why.
Maybe. I I don't know. But I'm looking forward to that. And
That does
with
sound
that, we
interesting.
will. Yeah, because I mean, I look up to a few of them. I'll just name John Oliver. I love watching John Oliver,
Hmm.
and Stephen Colbert. I have a huge appreciation for what he
Yeah,
does and his brand of comedy.
yeah.
All right, we're
Nice.
gonna move into our Black History fact for today.
Black History.
Black History.
Black History. Black History. Facts.
All right. Are you familiar with the term Black August?
I have heard it, and that's all I got. I've just heard it. I don't know much more than the recognition of the term.
Hmm. I came across this as I was doing research for the Montgomery Brawl, which will forever live in our hearts. The
Yep.
with Augusto de Cinco or Cinco de Augusto. Yeah, there we go. Sorry.
Hmm.
Anyway, I wrote this down so I can just talk about it rather than try to remember from memory because that's how you remember things.
Hmm.
To many, February is the month dedicated to celebrating Black Americans' contribution to a country where they were once enslaved. Well, I guess whatever. But Black History Month has an alternative. It's called Black August. First celebrated in 1979, Black August was created to commemorate George Jackson's fight for Black liberation. Observers
Hmm.
of Black August commit to higher levels of discipline throughout the month. This can
Hmm.
include fasting from food and drink, frequent physical exercise, and political study, and engagement in political struggle.
Hmm.
So that is,
Interesting.
yeah, because I
Never
mean,
have
I've
heard
never heard
that.
of it until I never heard of it, never knew anything about it, and then
Hmm.
got this little blurb here, and shame to admit, even though I've had this information for the past month, I did not partake really in any of these. So I
Well,
don't know,
that's
but
very interesting.
it is, and I now because I ever since I saw the term, it started popping up a little bit more. So I'm like, oh, okay, so I know what this is now, but
Hmm.
I just haven't partook, partooken. I haven't partooken
Partaken part.
in
Yes, that's exactly right. Yeah.
right. I haven't partooken in any of these events. So,
Hmm.
but now we know, and maybe next year, like I kind of say every year that I want to celebrate Kwanzaa, and maybe next year I'll celebrate Black August. So we'll see.
Nice.
Now we will go to where are we going? Oh, right, we're going to
Space.
and thank you, dear Kortney, Selena, Alan Hinton. You reminded me, or not reminded me, you told me today of the super blue moon that is happening,
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
guess tomorrow. But
Yeah, tomorrow.
regardless, yeah, it's here, it's blue, it's big, it's here for us.
Hmm.
Also, it's also here for India, or rather, India went there. India, the country, I mean, because they landed on it at a point
Oh.
that they named, or they successfully landed. Let me put that in there because India was rushing, wow, pun unintended, rushing with Russia to get there. And India won that race because Russia blew up. So sorry.
Hmm.
The point that they landed on is called Shiv Shakti Point because once you land there, I guess you get to name it. So good job for them.
That makes sense.
So
Yeah.
I was right. So I was curious and I decided to look up what that means.
Hmm.
And Shiva Shakti represents the union of sacred masculine and feminine consciousness that resides within us and permeates the cosmos.
Wow. That's so
Yeah.
deep. I love it.
I know. I'm like, okay, I've got to share this. Once I looked up what it meant, I'm like, yep, this is today's space news for
Hmm.
sure.
Hmm. That's
But yeah,
awesome.
that's yeah, I was glad to hear it. I have not seen any pictures. I don't really. It's not that I don't care to see any pictures. It's just like, what can you show me that I haven't already seen on the moon? And I know I'm opening a bit of a
floodgate of angry,
yes.
probably comments and thoughts.
Right. I mean, and not just from regular listeners or even because I'm also thinking of you and the things that we watch and listen to. And this is yet again a bit of a shout out to the Y-Files, to what really is going on in the moon, on the moon, in the moon, all that.
Yeah.
So that is why I'm like, I don't. It's not that I don't want to see pictures. It's just like, unless you're going to show me something I haven't seen already, yeah, I don't really, whatever.
Like, yeah, we don't need to see more pictures because you've seen one, you've seen them all.
Pretty much, yeah. Unless there really is something remarkable in your pictures, other than the fact that it's your first India. Like, I'm excited for you, but yeah, just calm down just a little bit, Like, I'm happy you made it, but give me. Do you have color pictures? Something? I don't know.
Anything that's not grainy, please.
Yeah, no grainy pictures. I mean, if you saw some creatures, even better. Because, I mean, it's India. Like, they wouldn't lie to us. Would they? India wouldn't lie to us.
Never. No.
We're going to move along. And I guess we're just going to go ahead because I want to talk about things that I guess I will recommend. I have not finished watching all of these things, but I will recommend them. And that requires my new sound effect for our recommendation section.
Whoa.
Yeah, I feel like the only way I can warn about that abrupt sound is by saying, "Hey, we're about to do the recommendation, so here we go," and that's that.
I kind of love it.
But I mean, I knew you would because you love Jurassic Park.
I do. I really do. Not Jurassic World.
I mean, Jurassic World is basically Jurassic Park, but with Chris Pratt.
Exactly. Why? Why did we do this? It was the exact same movie redone. Kind of like Matrix. What was the new one? Matrix
Revelations?
Is that the newest one that was done because it was basically the Matrix 2.0 with different faces and a decent effects. I don't know.
Yeah, you're talking about the Matrix that we didn't watch it together, but we ended up just having a conversation about it because we're just
the
putting
new
it together.
One, yeah.
Right.
The one that's got they changed
Resurrections.
Resurrection. No?
Yeah, I just looked it up. It's Resurrections.
Oh, okay. So what was it doesn't matter. Basically, they was just shot for shot Matrix or the original Matrix. Get out of here.
Is it though? I mean, Neil Patrick Harris was in it. He wasn't in the first one.
Oh my gosh, you know what I mean. They basically had just new faces, new-ish characters, but it was the same movie, same plot, all of that. Basically.
I mean, I will say I wanted more. I wanted more from it. Oh, wait. Are we talking about Matrix still, or are we talking about Jurassic World?
I mean, interchangeable at this point.
Okay. So, we'll go back to Jurassic World. That's what we're focused on right now. Because Matrix we did talk about. And even though at this point now it's been 2 years since it's come out, I have largely forgotten about it. It's like a film with diminishing returns, or rather a film franchise with diminishing returns. Even though the first one, I mean, it's stellar. It is on our oh my God, what do we call it? Is it our pantheon of perfect films? I feel like we should call it that because of alliterations. But The Matrix by itself, the single one, the first one, perfect. The sequels that followed it, I think because they followed in succession so quickly, like within like a couple of years or so, we allow it and we enjoy it. We embrace it. But Matrix 4, well, you already come out and just said you just don't like it.
I mean, I did not like it. It was just real meh to me. And it was basically all three. Wasn't it basically all three of the Matrices movies? Like in one movie? Or was it just the Matrix reshot? I can't remember because I tried to black out that movie, but come on.
I know you had such I
They
didn't
just
the
didn't.
disdain.
They just
I didn't know
didn't.
you
They
had it
didn't
though.
try though. They had what's her name, and they had Keanu Reeves.
Hmm.
Not what's her name. You that was very disrespectful. Carrie Ann Moss.
Trinity?
They had
Okay.
yes, but Carrie Ann Moss. So they had her
Right,
in
right.
there. They had Keanu. Come on, and they just it's just so
Like
disappointing.
what were you looking for?
I don't
Well, I
know, a
guess
better
that's I feel
movie.
like that's such a I know it's such a loaded question to ask, but
Just a
because I
better movie
mean
than what we got.
I'm with you in the fact that it just didn't feel like it it gave us what we were looking for or what we needed, what we wanted. Like, was it really worth reopening this box to tell this story where there could have been, I don't know, a better story to tell? If there wasn't even a story to tell.
I don't think there was a story to tell. So that's my biggest gripe. Why
Hmm.
do we do a million sequels when there's nothing more to tell? But then they took the money and they took the time and the talent and told the same story all over again. Come on. Ugh,
I mean, isn't that sort of what the whole resurrection, maybe the
no,
reason why it was given that subtitle
wrong.
was like, hey,
Maybe.
it's, we're
But it was
bringing it
lazy
back
story.
to
It was
life.
lazy. No, it was lazy. We could have done without it and been happy with the movies that we had before, which are not like The Matrix is a perfect movie, but the other ones are they're kind of, I allow them, but they're not perfect movies. But it is what it is. And but then you just recycle everything. We've done this already. We're already in the sixth Matrix version of the Matrix. Come on,
Mhm.
come on, come on. We don't need a seventh, all right?
I've struck a nerve and you sound very
You
jaded right now.
I'm very jaded. I am not happy.
Mm. And really this was about Jurassic World, which we will get back to. We will. And I think we will leave the Matrix alone.
Okay,
I think we are in agreement that Matrix 4 wasn't really needed, wasn't necessary. It definitely killed some time and I forgot that I saw it. But it's not one
true.
I'd be mad to rewatch, honestly, because I don't remember it that well.
Yeah, still not happy with it, but it's okay.
Hmm. Well, in regards to Jurassic World, same deal, really. I think I've only seen it the one time. I don't know if I saw that one in the theater, but I didn't hate it, but or I think I might have just was there just to see that one scene with Chris Pratt kind of just holding back the Raptors, like with that stance that everybody kept making a meme out of. Guess you can't really
Mm-hmm.
conjugate memeing, can you?
Mm-hmm.
Memed?
Memed.
Moomed.
Memed,
Yep, you
sure.
moomed it. Yep. Hmm. So anyway, that was the roar from the first Jurassic Park. I just kind of amplified it a little bit just to make it a little fuller because the original one just by itself, I'm like, it just needs a little oomph. And then there was a
Yeah.
supercut that had all of Rexy's roars, and I'm like, okay, that's overdoing it. That's too much. I just need a quick little bit. So there's that.
Mm-hmm.
There was
Yep.
another. Oh, right. So how would you feel about and I'm purposely doing this on purpose just because you're already riled up. But because we haven't talked about this, and I'm really interested how you feel about James Gunn and his next Superman movie.
There's another one coming.
Mm.
Oh my word. What is going on? Do we not have any writers out there who can deliver any original content or any directors who care enough about the audience, not just the money, to bring us something good and original? Is that too much to ask for?
I wish I had my
I
cam
just
on so you could just see me just roll back away from the microphone because I knew what was going to happen.
what does he think he's doing? Literally. I
Well,
mean,
do
I
you?
guess he wants a piece of the pie of the soup. Everybody's going to pay for another Superman movie. Like, do something else.
Well, I don't want to explain if you don't already know, or even if people listening don't know. But are you aware that James Gunn is now in charge of DC over at Warner Brothers?
I That sounds familiar. I don't pay a
Okay.
lot of attention to to DC. But that does sound familiar. So is he trying to redo it because he didn't like the way Snyder did it?
I mean, it was a mess, and it's not even
Yes.
all of Snyder's fault. So he's basically rebooting everything. I mean,
Oh
especially
my
with
God.
especially with
Golly.
what happened with the Flash, because I had hopes, I really did, that was going to be better than what it was, that it was going to maybe be a soft introduction into this new DC world, but that was such a letdown overall. Like, I mean, I enjoyed parts of it. It was nice to look at sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it was, yeah, it made me sad. And I told you I wasn't going to be sad. We're not having a sad day today. No, no,
No.
no. But yeah, I just wanted to at least let you know that there is a new Superman movie coming, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, you can have your feelings about that, because mostly the people that are upset because they want Henry Cavill back. Cavill.
Something like that.
Yeah, I
Henry.
mean, I should. Yeah, whatever. They want him back because they like him.
Mm-hmm.
But what's always funny to me is anytime someone is cast in one of these huge roles, they always kind of hate him at first, and
Mm-hmm.
then a movie or two later, they absolutely love him. Like, no, we don't want anybody else but this
Yeah.
person. I'm like, oh, figure it out,
Yeah.
get it together.
So
But we're
who
not.
has been tapped? Do we know? I know you said, but I just want to know, is there someone tapped for the role yet?
I did hear rumor, or tale, and it's not a name that I recognize. So, and I don't even know if it's true,
Interesting.
honestly.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
but they're going for somebody a little younger because they want to see Superman in his younger days,
Oh my
not
God.
necessarily back in like Smallville when he was like still a teen or whatever, but something a little older. But I mean, we'll
Hmm.
see. We'll see. I'm
You
gonna give
just
it a
don't need
chance.
it. No, fine. You tell
But
me how it goes.
it's one of those things where it comes from I'm trusting the director or the storyteller, such as James Gunn, and he's been
Hmm.
doing great things with the Guardians of the Galaxy, and it's really all that I've seen from him. But I mean, he's a good storyteller, and he's in tune with these characters. Oh no, that's not true. He's Suicide Squad. Yeah, I really like that too. So
Hmm.
he knows what he's doing. So if you've got a competent storyteller that knows the source material, that makes me feel a little more comfortable and confident about what you're intending to do. So
Hmm.
I'm giving him that.
Okay.
I'm ready. So if you can have a little bit of faith in me and my faith in him, then you can kind of go out. You can go out and see it with your skeptical eyes, but just
Hmm.
give him a chance. Give him a chance is what I'm saying.
I am going to just reserve my thoughts and feelings on the matter,
Mm-hmm.
and let things play out as they may, and move on with my life, probably without seeing the movie.
Oh, well, you got to go see The Flash. Well, not see it. I don't mean see it. I don't mean go see it. I mean watch it because it is now streaming, so you don't have to pay anything.
Amen.
Yeah, so watch that. Oh, wait, did you watch it yet?
Nope.
Okay, yeah. Well, go watch it and then report back to me, and
Okay,
then we can
I can
discuss
do
that.
that.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Hmm.
But since we are talking about superheroes, because this whole thing was about recommendations, that's the whole reason for playing Rexy a little earlier.
Hmm.
And I have a number of recommendations for you today. I couldn't keep it to just one because I just came across so many things in the last like 2 weeks. And I'm like, oh, I got to talk about this. Oh, I got to talk about this. I love it. So, first one, and Kortney, I've already told you about this. Well, mostly I think just one day, but I was binging the show and I wasn't I really haven't been able to binge anything lately except for this show.
Hmm.
So I'm kind of glad I had the time.
Hmm.
And that show is called Moving.
Hmm.
It is
Okay.
I want to say it's exclusive to Hulu, but it's definitely like it's a Hulu original, so I guess it is exclusive. It's still ongoing. So I did tell you a tiny little lie, which I had since corrected when I told you. I said, hey, it's only 11 episodes, but no, it's only 11 episodes at that time. And I think new episodes come every Wednesday and a season finale next month, or which is almost like next week, but on the 20th. So,
okay.
So let me tell you what it's about.
Okay.
It basically starts with these high school teenagers. By the way, it's a I want to call it a Korean drama, not necessarily your typical K drama that I'm familiar with. And I still haven't really signed on to any kind of show, but I'm curious about watching one. But moving on, this is a show about high school kids who, I don't want to say they discover that they have powers. I think they always kind of known that they did, but they have to keep it secret. And their parents also have powers, but they used to be spies in the government, and they're trying to keep everything, secret. They don't want anybody to know. Sometimes they would have to kind of move to kind of keep that secret. And I don't think that's the reason why it's called Moving. I still don't know why it's called Moving. I don't. Okay. But the show itself, the story, the actors, like I'm really enthralled. I'm really loving it. Not a show for children. Then again, I would also say it's not for children because it is subtitled. So if they're really young, it's going to be kind of hard for them to keep up and have to read everything. But either way, it's very good entertainment, very good story. And when you're just talking about writers coming in to make a compelling story, well, this is that. Okay. So we've got your flyers, we've got your strongs, your oh my god, I'm trying to think of the other powers that has been displayed thus far. Electricity people, your healers, like they just heal kind of like Wolverine does. So yeah, it's indestructible. I'll put it that way. They're indestructible. So it's good. It's good. I like it.
And where is it? You may have said this, but where is it streaming?
This is on Hulu. This particular show.
Thank you.
Yes, and right as of this recording, there's 11 episodes. When this episode comes out, there should be, I think, 13. Because I think they drop 2 episodes every week. I think. Oh. Yeah. So
not just
you'll get right. You'll get your fill for sure. And the season finale is actually 3 episodes, like a 3-part season finale.
Hey man, so, I love those.
I know, like. I don't know, let me just settle in and get like a bag of popcorn and just this is my night now. I'm going to be watching this. So
that's pretty cool.
You have that on Hulu. Over on Apple Plus, or is it Apple TV? Is it Apple Plus or Apple TV? I just wrote down Apple Plus.
I think it's Apple TV.
Okay. Over on Apple TV, we've got a new animated series that I'm thoroughly enjoying. It's just sometimes you just need something light, something just kind of a little silly, and it's called Strange Planet. Now, if this sounds familiar to you, maybe not to you directly, Kortney, unless it is, and it can be. You may have seen some web comics around where there's these blue-looking alien creatures, and they're just kind of they're describing things that are in like our everyday life, but in a way that I don't know, maybe an alien would understand it. Where they would call alcohol mild poison, or trying to think of other examples they use. Instead of saying their mom or their dad, they call them life giver, or oh my goodness, instead of saying thank you, they just say gratitude. So it's just little things about how they do things and how they speak that I absolutely just love. All the animals, they have like 3 eyes. Because it's a strange planet, and it's great. It's very pleasant. It's very silly, and I really enjoy it. And I don't know how many episodes are going to come out this season. There's already 5 that are out now, but go check it out if you have Apple TV. Take a look. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. And now we're going to move from TV to music because I don't do that very often. And I've always, I mean,
Okay.
that was really one of my reasons for doing this whole segment because I wanted to talk about some of the music I've been into.
Hmm.
Hozier, who now, Kortney, I don't know if you have like a minute or two, just you can like put your feet up and relax because I feel like I just need to go on a little bit of a rant here. It's not a
Hmm.
rant. I believe for
Okay.
me, he's one of my top favorite lyricists, like songwriters. He has a way with words that I just cannot like comprehend, and I'm a little bit envious of his ability
Hmm.
to craft timeless music that could, well, be timeless. Like you could listen to it if these songs came out like 100 years ago, it would
Hmm.
still be relevant today and 100 years from now because it's just the
Wow.
way that they're written. About most of them are about just maybe love or love lost or war or just growing up and just, I mean, I know a lot of songwriters do that, but it's just something about the way that he puts words together
Hmm.
that I'm like, wow, that's deep. And I was doing that today, honestly. I mean, I was working, I was doing my job, but in between I was re-listening to the album and like, these lyrics, what are you saying here? And his album that just came out is called Unreal Unearth. And what it is basically kind of his response or his interpretation of Dante's Inferno,
Oh,
that book
wow.
from, yeah, not
Mm.
even book, epic poem from
Yeah.
centuries ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Each
Wow.
song on the album, and the album is like 16 songs, but like each song has to do with each level of hell
Oh,
or
wow.
each circle. And even though there's nine of them, some of them have to do a bit more with other things. And some of them are super specific. Like one song is called Francesca. And I'm listening to the lyrics and I'm like, well, maybe the song's about Francesca, but I never hear the name. And that happens pretty
Hmm.
often.
Hmm.
But really, and this is the part that was like, oh my God, this guy is great. This guy's a master. So Francesca is about someone who is in one of the circles of hell, but it's the song itself is sung from the perspective of Francesca's lover. Like she had an affair with this guy, and this guy
Hmm.
never says anything in the poem. So he wrote a song about the guy, like from his perspective, how he feels about Francesca. And
Hmm.
basically, in his song, he's saying, all the stuff I did, I'd pretty much do it again because I love you that much. So that's
Wow.
my interpretation. But it was,
Hmm.
yeah, it's good. And then there's songs that sound happy and upbeat, like, oh, this is a great
Hmm.
love song, but really he's saying like, nope, I wouldn't do that for you. I don't like you. Get out of my life. So it's,
Wow.
mm. But he's great. He's great. My favorite song would be DeSelby. I didn't even write it down, but oh, DeSelby Part Two is the first one is partially in Irish because he is Irish,
Hmm.
and it's the first time that he's actually sung in Irish on one of his albums, and I think this is the third one. And each one has like an elemental vibe to it. The first one, Hozier, which is basically a self-titled album with
Hmm.
the hit single "Take Me to Church." In case you've
Hmm.
never heard that song ever, it felt it felt green, it felt leafy. And then the second album, which is good but not my favorite, is called
Hmm.
Wasteland Baby. And
Okay.
I'm also basing this off the album covers, but it has a very watery feel to it. And plus the album cover, he's underwater. So it just
Mm.
felt watery.
Hmm.
And this one, the album cover, it just kind of startled me when I first saw it because it's just like I don't know if he's smiling, but all you see is like a mouth and teeth, but like it's buried under dirt. Like all you see is just the mouth and just dirt all around. So it's a
Wow.
vibe. Yeah,
That is a
striking.
vibe.
And if you watch the visuals on like YouTube, then you can kind of see him kind of playing with a flower in his mouth. He kind of just it's weird, but the music is so good. at this point, I don't really have any skips. If anything, I'm just skipping around because I'm trying to get different parts of like, oh, let me hear the song again. Let me hear that one. And
Mm-hmm.
it is meant to listen from beginning to end because it is a journey, just like Dante's Inferno is a journey
Mm-hmm.
through the nine circles. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So
So
that is my yeah.
you said there's some upbeat songs. Does it sound kind of depressing, or is it just I don't know. Like you're recommending it, so I assume it's not like super down, I guess, but I don't know. Is
It
it
isn't.
depressing?
It is not depressing. And the songs that are maybe a slower tempo, if you will, it's
Mm,
more introspective, I would say, where some of the songs that are slower, yeah, it may have a bit of sadness tinge to it because maybe it might be about the ending of a relationship, but the song itself is still just so melodic and
mm-hmm.
hypnotic in a way that you can't help but listen because he's got a great voice and the instrumentation is just the musicality of it all.
Mm,
It just keeps you wanting to listen. So it's like almost as if you're watching a sad movie. Well, maybe you don't know it's sad, but it has a sad part in it. And it's like,
mm-hmm.
oh man, it's always sad at this part, but I love this part. Like I love the way that they act in this movie. Like when they do this scene, it's just great. It's just brilliant.
Yeah.
So overall, it is. I don't feel that it's sad because again, my one of my favorite songs is isn't a sad song. Like I think it's called the Selby. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but Selby Part Two. It's
Mm-hmm.
very upbeat, very rockish, very just. And my interpretation of that song is this guy is willing to do whatever it takes to please this woman who he loves. He will continue to walk the earth to keep, I guess, maybe to keep it nighttime because she is the nighttime.
Mm-hmm.
I'm butchering probably my interpretation, but it makes perfect sense to me when I hear it. And that's what I love about his lyrics because they're so poetic, so deep, and you can kind of interpret it however you want, which is nice.
Yeah. Interesting.
And
I'll have to give it
something,
a try. Give that one a try.
yeah,
It sounds
yeah,
good.
yeah. Please. It is good. It is good. And there was one song called Anything But. And that song in particular is about fraudsters, which I believe is on one of those circles of hell because he directly talks about it.
Mm-hmm.
And he was working with American producers, and they were thinking, and it's another one of those upbeat songs, and they thought it was an upbeat love song. And you're like, nope, nope, not really. It's basically saying like, yeah, you there would be a whole stampede, but I wouldn't kick you because you're not worth it. So
Yeah.
that's like literally like one of the lines. So
Mm.
I thought that was pretty funny. I'm like, okay, well, now I get it. Right. Well done, sir.
Sounds really
So yeah,
interesting. Sounds like a good one.
it is. I'm truly enjoying it. I'm trying not to play it too much to bother my family, but I know that it seeps through because if I play it in the car and they start singing along to it, I'm like, oh, yep, I'm playing it too much. But
Mm-hmm.
oh well, could be worse things. My last thing to recommend, and it's hard to recommend this as well because I'm not finished with it, but I've been enjoying it so much, is a book called Movies and Other Things by Shea Sorrano. And Kortney, this is also a book that you would probably also enjoy
Okay.
just because the author asks questions that are great questions that nobody asked, nobody
Mm-hmm.
even maybe thought about asking, but they were just like, yeah, like what is the best kills in an action movie and rank them for me and why? And
Ooh,
that's just one example. Or have you seen the Kill Bill movies, the Quentin Tarantino Kill Bill movies?
I haven't. I haven't actually seen
Okay.
them.
Okay. There are some major deaths in that movie, but he ranks
Mm-hmm.
them like who got it the worst in terms of I don't know the bad end of the deal. I guess I don't know
Mm-hmm.
who got it the worst. That and the funny thing is that you don't necessarily need to have seen the film, but it does make it easier if you have. So you can still read the book and kind of like, oh, okay, well, I guess that person did get the worst end of the luck or whatever. I don't want to spoil it here.
Mm-hmm.
There's a chart because they do have illustrations, they lovely illustrations. Who is the best John in an action movie? And they've got John Wick. They've got John. I think John Constantine's in it too, which happened to be both Keanu Reeves. But all the Johns. John from. I mean, I can't even think of any of the examples right now. Die Hard, that John, and all of them. And who's the best? Who's like the most realistic? Who's I don't know. It's great. I love it. I'm doing a terrible job selling this book only because I'm still in it and I don't know what else has come that I'm really.
It sounds really good.
Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park.
You should have started there.
I know. And that's also one of the reasons why I decided I needed to talk about it, because there's a chapter that what if the Raptors were just misunderstood?
Oh. That's a good point. Because we don't speak their language. We don't know. We don't know what they're trying to do or trying to say, or we don't know how they're trying to move throughout this life, this crazy world. I'm on her side.
They're just misunderstood. I mean, that chapter alone, I feel for you personally would sell the book. And I apologize for not starting with there, because the guy who recommended it to me, that's the first thing I came back to him with. Like, this is an insane state of mind or something to think about, but I love it. I want more of it. Unfortunately, I have more of it because I haven't finished reading it yet. So it's great.
This sounds awesome. It sounds like a very unique book as well. And I love those. I love a unique book.
And it's also unique in the way that it's stated in the book that you don't have to read it from like chapter 1 to chapter 2 to chapter 3. You can pick any chapter you want and just read that, or go in any order you want, which is nice. But I'm going to read it from 1 to, because I'm a completionist. So I got to read it all.
And you're not a complete monster.
Not a complete monster, just a partial one.
Just a partial one, but not in this way. Come on.
No. Of course not. So yeah, that is. He's also written other works such as Basketball and Other Things, and Hip Hop and Other Things, which I think Hip Hop and Other Things would be my next read after this one, because I like the way he writes. I like this state of mind. If that continues, then yeah, bring it on, because I'm ready.
Well, it sounds like if he's on a roll, with these Blank and Other Things series, if you're liking this one so much, I agree. His other ones are probably be good as well, and bring up some really important questions, and points.
Right. Questions that need answers, and he does answer them. So he takes the time. And I know what chapter I left off on. I'm on the chapter of movies that you are still, or maybe that have. I'm going to butcher the title, and I could just look it up because it is on my phone. And the chapter actually has guest authors or guest writers come in to give their views or opinions on this particular chapter. Oops. And which movie death hurt you the most? I'm reading because it's scrolling. As an adult. Okay. So yeah, which movie death hurt you the most as an adult?
Ooh. Are you asking?
I am now, yes. And I realize I don't even have an answer yet, so I'm trying to think of one for myself. If I do have an answer.
So I have show deaths that really hurt. Trying to think of a movie death that I don't know. Aunt May. Well, this is a little bit of a spoiler for Spider-Man.
Yeah,
No Way Home, maybe. Which one was it?
That's
Homecoming.
correct.
It was No Way Home.
Yeah.
Her death really got me because I didn't expect it. It kind of makes sense because all Spider-Men have lost an aunt either, and it's normally Uncle Ben. So it kind of makes sense that she would die, but I don't know. That one really got me. I did not see it coming. I did not expect it. And it hurt.
Hmm.
That's the first one that comes to mind. I'm sure there are many others.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think of ones that really like like emotionally got me. And the one that's coming to mind for me is from Selma. And it because
Mm,
I was in the theater by myself,
hmm
and there's some character, and I don't remember exactly who the character was, but he had died, and it might have been his uncle or his grandfather, but the way that it affected him, and I
hmm
think that's really what it is. If I see someone else who's having like a strong reaction to the death, I think that's where my emotions kind of lie, and then I
hmm
am reacting to their heartbreak, to their sadness, and that
Yeah.
like I wept in the theater during that scene
Mm,
because
hmm
it really I don't want to say it upset me, but it really made me sad. Like I had a hard time with that one
Yeah.
because yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It was thinking of TV shows, but no, movie.
Yeah. I watch more TV shows, so you know, cry a lot. But the movies, it's just harder. And plus, everything I watch, like with movies, they don't always involve with death. So that's a harder one
Mm-hmm.
to think of.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But no, I guess those would be our entries, I suppose. And
Hmm
each of the writers, they all have their thoughts. I know someone had mentioned characters from, or a character from, I think Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit. I don't remember.
hmm
I would have to go back because I think I was highly distracted when I was listening to this chapter. I'm like, that's an interesting choice, whatever that choice that was. But no, that's yeah, that's where I left off. And we'll continue. I'll probably reread that chapter and go from there.
hmm
Now, I just gave you a total of 4 recommendations after all of that babbling and
Uh-huh.
raving and ranting. Do
hmm
you have any recommendations?
Um, I'm gonna have to go with an oldie but a goodie. I'm sure I've recommended this before, so it's a little bit of a cheat, but I also don't like consume a ton of media these days. So my recommendation is Doctor Who, specifically series uh 4, 3 maybe. Um, it's the season or the series with Donna Noble or Catherine Tate as Donna Noble as
Mm,
the companion to the Doctor. It's also
okay.
David Tennant's. I believe this is his last season as the Doctor. I highly recommend that because there's so many great episodes. And I feel like with this rebooted, like this is like when it was rebooted from the original series, I it I feel like that's when they were really starting to get into their stride. And I feel like most shows it takes them a couple seasons to actually get through. It's actually season 4. I just checked. Um, I feel like it just every all of the episodes. Well, there's a couple that I still skip, but most of those
Mm,
episodes are really good, and there's a lot of like resolution in this series, and just because they in the earlier seasons they like planted a bunch of um not Easter eggs, but they planted a lot of little seeds here and there, and so a lot you see a lot of resolution in this season 4. So I love
mm,
it, and I'm watching it, which is why I am reminiscing because I'm going through it and
okay.
binging it, and like, oh yes, I remember this. Oh, the memories, and I still like cry at the appropriate times and sometimes the
Mm,
inappropriate times. You know,
the inappropriate
um,
times.
well, like this shouldn't make me cry, but it does, sort
Oh,
of thing. Not inappropriate in an inappropriate way, but you know what I mean.
well, I mean, I didn't
So
know what that meant at all. Like, what would be an inappropriate cry? Like,
I guess
I
just
legit didn't understand. So that's
well,
all.
just not like a I guess a normal person probably wouldn't cry at it, but I don't
I
know.
see.
I highly recommend it. It's still along the same lines of just super silly Doctor Who stuff. Also, the music is the best during the season to me, but you know,
Hmm.
highly recommend it.
I really, really want to watch more of it, but I know that requires getting Ashley on board. Although even if she didn't enjoy it, I think she'd probably just get into her phone. But I kind of want her just to kind of join me with, the
Mm-hmm.
journeys and my appreciation, or rather our appreciation of it, because it's a great show. It's good fun. At times it can be a little creepy. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
she's met the Weeping Angels yet. So that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of something it's come up. I think it's come up on the Y files, but it was just something I was like, oh yeah, they are terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Like
Yeah, they
top
are.
villain. So no, thank you.
And I love that they
But yeah,
show
you're
up in multiple times during the full like series of Doctor Who. It's
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
beautiful. Beautiful.
And and finding more ways to terrify us. And like, oh
Mm-hmm.
great,
Mm-hmm.
there's a weeping angel over there. Fantastic. um but I do want to move forward in Doctor Who so I can be caught up and see the new Doctor
Yeah.
and all the. I really want to get to that special episode. I think it might have been a Christmas episode, but it's basically when all the doctors from all the different times had come
Yes.
together because they
Yes,
had to
yes.
fight something or someone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
I really want to rewatch that episode. But
Yeah.
we've already agreed. I believe that David Tennant is our favorite Doctor. So any of his
Yeah.
episodes are good for me.
Yeah. He's my doctor. He's my favorite. I do love the other ones as well. But he is my favorite, hands
And
down.
I
Matt
I
Smith
would
is
be
he grew on
remiss.
me.
Well, I was
Mhm.
going to say I'd be remiss if I did not mention Matt Smith and his weird face
Mhm.
because I have to say that each and every time because there
Mhm.
are people that I like to just put that little knife in and turn it a little bit because that's
Mhm.
their favorite Doctor. But
Yeah.
I don't like his face. It's just weird to me.
Still,
Just
I feel like they
am I
caught his.
alone?
Well, I feel like they finally got his angles right, like a couple seasons in of
Hmm.
him. They finally made him look not so. I mean, I don't know. The Doctor is what we would consider an alien, so it makes sense that Matt Smith had a strange face because he's an alien. It really makes sense. But I
Hmm.
do agree that he looked quite strange at the beginning. And to me, I feel like he grew into it even more after a season or two. And then they found his angles. So, yeah.
Yeah, you're the one who kind of encouraged me to keep going, not because of his face at the time. I think you kind of warned me saying he was kind of well liked at first. Like he had an off puttingness about him, and it wasn't a
Mm-hmm.
physical thing. It was just his personality as the Doctor.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't know if I like this Doctor. And then later on, I realized your face is weird. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I came around. I came around,
Yeah.
and then we got to
Yeah.
Capaldi, and and it wasn't because like there was a woman doctor. Like I was all on board. I think it was just because of life, which is why I dropped off the show.
Mm-hmm.
And between life and I think not having access to it, like I might have lost BBC America or however I was watching it before. I because I was an avid fan. I was watching as much as I could, as often as I could.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, hopefully I can continue my journey and revisit some of these older
Do
episodes
continue.
or not. Yeah,
Do
yeah,
continue.
yeah. And I'm like, what is her name? I think her real name is Frida something, but it's the black woman companion.
Martha Jones, her name is Freema.
Prima.
Freema. It's Freema something. Freema something with an A.
Yes, yes, yes.
She's awesome.
I liked her.
I do love Martha, who also comes back. Like she had her run, and then
Hmm.
we did see her again after she was no longer an official companion. And I like just passed that episode, and oh, so good, so good.
Hmm. Yeah, I feel like I want to start there, and I did, And that's probably what happened with Ashley, where
I
she
think
might
I
have
did
seen
too.
it and like, I don't like this. But I don't know. I'll try again. And I said this before. I know I did, but at least I got her onto Star Trek. So
Yeah,
that's progress. It's progress.
that is progress. You're right. Hmm. Agreed.
So now we are wrapping up our last bit of show here, and I'll let you go first for your moment of gratitude. What are you grateful for today?
I am grateful for um hmm, I'm grateful for the simple things in life, like um a lazy day and a good smelling candle and good food. Because sometimes you just have to simplify and remember the things that make us happy and bring us life and also ground us. And so I just love having, well, and sometimes I'm forced to remember those things, but
Mm.
I'm able to, I'm happy to be able to like remember, okay, this is what makes me chill. This is what grounds me. This is what I'm happy about or what makes me happy. So just the simple things in life that don't require a lot, are free or inexpensive, um, that just remind you that life is not so bad all the time.
Hmm. Look at you practicing groundedness.
I try.
Hmm. You succeed. There is no try. There's
Mhm.
do or do not.
Yep.
Master Yoda. Um, I agree, and I love that. I couldn't agree more. Really, just taking in the little things, really. And I feel like I've said that often, like it's the little things in life, but it really is.
Hmm.
It's just the smells that can come, like maybe just walking to certain stores and like, oh, I love this. This just the
Hmm.
smell. And then
Hmm.
I leave because I'm done because that's all I wanted. But just appreciating the little things in life because it what's what makes life good
Yes.
and
Yes.
bearable. Yeah.
Yes.
But
Yes. That's exactly it.
but but I don't want to add on to more because you said it perfectly and beautifully. And I'll just go ahead into mine, which is an actual thing. And yes, it is a bit of a plug because I am grateful for Millie Mobile Auto for
Okay.
coming out to my location, or rather to my home, to fix my wife's car, and then going out to my church where by the way, backing up a little bit, both of our cars broke down. Hers
Hmm.
broke down maybe a couple houses away from our house, so we were able to just push it back in front of our
Hmm.
house. My car broke down from going to the radio station to church, and I basically just waited in the car for 3 hours until my dad came to pick me up. I was waiting for the tow truck and never came. Well, it did come, but an hour after I was picked up. So
Oh my goodness.
I moved. Yeah, I moved forward anyway. Did what I had to do because I'm like, what am I going to sit around being, miserable about this? Because hey, I mean, this is where I am. I'm doing the best I can. So I just moved
Hmm.
on, did what I could, and succeeded. Had a decent day. I took my mother's advice. She was like, once you get home, don't worry about the cars, just rest because I was actually very tired. So the next day, I was wide awake. I'm so grateful also for having a job I can work at home. So I didn't miss really anything.
Hmm.
I then called Millie Mobile Auto. They pretty much took the information. I told them what happened. They were like, "Oh yeah, well it could be this, and I'm pretty sure it might be this. So this is how much the part costs, and labor costs this much. So we're looking about like 250 or something like that." So I'm like, "Huh, okay." Because prior to all of this, I had an inkling of what was wrong with both of the vehicles. Did a quick Google search of how much it cost to repair these things. Basically, both cars would have cost me possibly up to $1,000. Long story short,
Hmm.
cost me just a little under 500 to get both
Woohoo.
cars fixed.
Much better.
Yeah. And I didn't have to go to a garage. Like they came to me at both locations. So that is like amazing. And I was telling my boss about it today, and he was like, this is an awesome business model. Like, skip the whole garage part of it and we'll come to you. Because I don't want to say most times, but when you do have car trouble, if it's not running, it's like kind of hard to get there. And then if your car ends up at the garage, they can charge you for keeping your car at the garage until you can get it out. And yeah, I don't got that kind of money. No.
Right.
Not in 2023.
Right.
So again, that's Millie, Milli. I'm sitting here talking about it, and this is like an international podcast. So if you're in Connecticut, it really only applies to you. But hopefully other states get this idea, like other mechanics out there. Like, this is something that you can jump on and you can build your own business if you work on cars, or you are thinking of starting a business. Maybe you hire a bunch of mechanics and vans and the things that they need to fix cars. And you are the person that just takes the calls and schedules and maybe go get the parts that are needed, because that's what the business owner for this job or for this business did. My car needed an axle, so the owner went out to get the axle, then met with the mechanic to put it together, and I was back on the road then, like, a couple hours. So I don't know. Hopefully there are some other businesses like that somewhere where you live. And if not, then if you are someone who is into that, then yeah, this is me saying, why don't you do that thing and then get stickers, put them on gas pumps, because that's how I found this guy.
Oh, that's very smart.
Yes, very effective marketing, because I wouldn't have found him any other way, honestly. And I wasn't even really looking at that time. I was just happened to look down, like, maybe they can come fix Ashley's car. Then a few days later, my car breaks. I'm like, okay, definitely calling these people now. So yeah, that is, again, Milli Mobile Auto. They are also available online. And pro tip, again, this is just for people in Connecticut, but I will also tell them as soon as I can, if they can invest in maybe a Square, meaning, so I can pay with credit card or swipe something, because right now they only take cash, Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal. And I mean, it'd be a little helpful if there's that one more option. Just saying. So that is all that I have. Do you have any shout outs or anything of that nature you want to say hi to, or do you want people to know where you are or located? Anything like that?
I'm not currently online, really. So I'm on Earth. Just trying to make it
on Earth.
For now. We'll see. And hi, Mom.
I mean, you're not planning to go to Mars or Venus, which we talked about last time.
I mean, yeah, but you never know. You just never know.
No, I don't know. We'll revisit that again, because I'm pretty sure you don't want to go to Venus with that guy.
No. I'm happy with staying put where I am, honestly.
Okay, good. Me too. And that does it for me as well. You can find me at all things at indoob. Oh my goodness, I keep forgetting, and I wrote it down here in big giant letters. The Indoob podcast, or rather the Indoob or whatever. I don't know. We're on Discord, and right now I'm the only one in there. So even you, Kortney, if you want to kind of venture out a little bit, just a little bit, like you can chat in there. There's really nothing in the Indoob channel. I'm still kind of figuring that out. But we are in Discord, so I guess Google or search for Indoob on Discord. I'm still figuring it out. And you can find me at all things at Indoob. I'll try to see if I can put a link somewhere for the Discord. And remember to wash your legs, your feet, the bottoms of your plates, your arms and legs, your whole body. Just wash regularly, please. Please. If you can, please. Remember, drink your water and tell someone you value that you value them. Live for the folks you love and live without regrets. I've been your benevolent host, T. Sterling Watson. And remember, if the world didn't suck, we'd all fall off henceforth and forevermore. And the church says,
Amen.
Amen indeed. Thank you so much for listening to the Indoob podcast. To get more Indoob in your life, check out indoob.com, patreon.com/indoob, and of course, merch over at TeePublic. Email us your Ask Indoob questions, comments, or just say hi at indoobpod@gmail.com. Linky dinks in the descripts. Please rate, comment, follow, subscribe, and hashtag tell your friends. Until next time.